In this presentation, we will be addressing the domestic violence problem experienced by women victims. We will explore the definition of domestic violence, its attributes, causes, and effects, as well as investigating the social determinants of domestic abuse, the barriers around changing this issue, and viewing an intervention strategy enforced by the Australian government to help reduce this severe issue. According to the Australian Institute of Criminology, domestic violence, more commonly known as intimate partner violence or IPV, is characterized by, but is not limited to, violent, abusive, intimidating, controlling, and/or manipulative behaviors within a relationship. Forms of which domestic abuse can be experienced by is emotional abuse, sexual abuse, social abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, and physical abuse. Domestic violence perpetrators are most prevalently males against a female partner, but men also do experience domestic violence at a woman's hands. Domestic violence occurs in both heterosexual and homosexual relationships and includes, but is not limited to, married couples and de facto couples most commonly. Some potential causes for abuse include the following, according to Psych Central. Abusers use domestic violence in order to have a sense of control, power, and superiority over their victim. Some experiences that can increase the likelihood of perpetrators becoming abusers include potential childhood trauma where domestic violence was experienced in the household growing up and/or witnessing it, holding certain belief systems about gender superiority and hierarchy, substance use, whether it be alcohol or illegal drugs, or even both, as well as a vast range of diagnosed and undiagnosed mental illnesses that can contribute to the likelihood of becoming an abuser. The effects that domestic violence has on a person includes experiencing social, emotional, economic cost to victims, their families, and the broader community. Social determinants of health can include a person's income and social status, social support networks, education and literacy, employment/working conditions, social environment, physical environment, personal health practices, and coping skills. Healthy childhood development, biology and genetic endowment, access to quality health services, and gender and culture. Societal and community factors that influence social determinants of domestic violence involve social and economic inequalities, gender inequalities, community violence and instability, social norms relating to gender roles, gender equality, and IPV acceptability within a community. Some examples of this may include unstable housing, the male perpetrator's educational level and/or employment, whether he be unemployed, which links to more prevalence of occurring in low socioeconomic environments. Australia's National Research Organisation for Women's Safety Limited, or ANROS, is a unique research organisation, being one of the only national organisations across the world tasked with building, translating and distributing the evidence base to inform policy and practice on women and children's safety in relation to domestic violence. Their overall aim is to reduce violence through the use of their Perpetrator Interventions Research Program, which is used to explore interventions with perpetrators of violence in Australia, including men's behavioural programs and other community-based responses, as well as interventions in the context of criminal justice, child protection, and family law systems. ANROS lead and facilitate coordination of research in the violence against women field nationally. Deliver high-quality, innovative and relevant research, effectively translate and disseminate evidence to inform policy and practice design decisions. ANROS was first established as an initiative of Australia's first national plan to reduce violence against women and children by the Commonwealth Government and all state and territory governments of Australia. Since the launch of their inaugural research program in October 2014, ANROS has delivered quality research and associated reports, research synthesis papers, tools, and resources across all priority areas of the national plan. Importantly, ANROS has also actively worked with decision makers to support the take-up of the evidence it has produced. In a relatively short period, ANROS has developed a reputation for excellence in the production of evidence to guide policy and practice in the violence against women field, consecutively and in addition to their core funding that is jointly provided by the Commonwealth, states and territories. ANROS has been successful in tendering for research and evaluation projects. Barriers to women disclosing domestic abuse in Palestine Health Services, a qualitative, interview-based study. The findings revealed that women face barriers at the individual healthcare service and societal levels. Lack of awareness about available options, concern about healthcare systems, major focus on physical alignments, lack of privacy in health consultations, lack of faith in confidentiality, fear of being labeled mentally ill and losing contact to their children were all mentioned. Women wished that health providers would inquire about DV on their behalf. Broader difficulties concerned women's social and economic dependence on their spouses, which promoted fears of violating social and cultural standards by speaking out. Women feared being blamed and ostracized by family members and others, as well as an increase in violence. If you or someone else you know is experiencing domestic violence, speak out. Contact reachout.com and or Lifeline.